we are diving into a high-stakes sonic showdown. We're on a very specific mission today, an album quest.
That's right. We're looking at this amazing project from Greenstarox, the album quest, the search for the best album of all time.
And the format is just brilliant.
It is. It's a World Cup of music. Albums are thrown into these random groups of 4, and only the top 2 get to advance.
So our mission is pretty straightforward. We are taking our own album quest into the results of one specific, really brutal second-round clash.
Round 2, Group 45, to be exact.
4 very different contenders, but, only 2 could make it through. And the stakes here are actually pretty high because the results really tell you what this one critic values most.
And what a lineup for this group. I mean, it was incredibly diverse. You had Pink Floyd's Momentary Lapse of Reason.
Swatters era.
Exactly. Then Liam Gallagher's solo record, Why Me? Why Not?
Very solid stadium rock.
Then you throw in the alternative grit of Therapy with Troublegum.
A 90s classic.
And, to top it all off, the piano rock of Keane with Under the Iron Sea.
Okay, let's unpack this. Before we even get to the head-to-head, we have to talk about how they even got here.
Yeah, you do. Every album in this round has already won a battle. They earned this spot.
Right. So what kind of competition do they have to beat to qualify?
Well, their paths really do tell a story. You see these genre clashes, some surprising wins. Take Pink Floyd's Momentary Lapse of Reason.
Okay.
It got through its first bracket, which, you'd expect for a band that huge, but it actually finished second.
2.
Bruce Hornsby in the range.
Wow. Okay, so even the legacy acts can't just coast.
Not at all. And it's a similar story for Keane's Under the Iron Sea. They also qualified in second, just behind a Dire Straits record.
So that group was, what, a mix of 80s rock and 2000s pop?
Pretty much. And it proves Keane's sound had this broad appeal, even against some real heavy hitters like the Foo Fighters in that same group.
Okay, but the other 2 qualifications are where it gets really fascinating.
Yeah, so Liam Gallagher's Why Me, Why Not actually came in first in its opening round. It beat out some classic vinyl compilations pretty easily.
Wait, a recent Liam Gallagher record beat a 60s vinyl comp? That seems like an odd matchup.
It is, but it suggests that, modern impact was a factor there. But the real story, I think, is Therapy.
Troublegum.
Yeah. They also qualified in second place, but in doing that, they got this eyebrow-raising result.
Which was?
They beat the Stereophonics language Sex Violence of Her.
Whoa. Okay, that tells you something. It shows Troublegum is more than just some niche 90s record.
It's a force. The reviewer clearly values that specific kind of aggression. So the stage is set, really. The central conflict is right there.
Can these really consistent, high-quality rock albums from, say, Liam and Therapy ever beat albums that are defined more by a deep personal connection or, some kind of unique innovation?
Let's find out.
So we'll start with the album that finished last. 4th place, eliminated. Troublegum by Therapy from 1994. The reviewer loved its strength in the first round, so
yeah.
Why did it run out of steam here?
Well, the praise for it is still really significant. It's an album that just perfectly fuses these intense, heavy guitar riffs with these almost howling, impassioned vocals.
A wall of sound, right?
A relentless wall of sound. It's famous for how seamless it is. One track just bleeds straight into the next.
That sounds amazing if you're in the mood for that kind of energy.
It is, and the musical details are all there. On Lunacy Booth, there's this really theatrical vocal call and response part that just elevates the whole thing.
Right.
Or on the track Turn, where the vocal suddenly drops into this lower, smoother register. The reviewer compares it to a Depeche Mode vocal tone.
On a thrash record, that's an inventive twist.
It is. So, high marks for style, high marks for execution, but it still didn't advance.
So where did that intense consistency go wrong for it?
The critique is basically that. While it's better than most grunge from that era, against this specific competition, it just suffered from a lack of true variety. Its consistency became uniformity. It's a great record, but compared to the others, its sound was just too narrow. It got locked into 4th place.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Okay, moving up to 3rd place. So just missing the cut. We have Liam Gallagher's album from 2019, Why Me, Why Not?
And remember, this one topped its first bracket.
Exactly. So to come in 3rd here must have been, a bit of a cold dose of reality about its limits in the competition.
It's a really interesting case because, Objectively, it's a very, very strong album. It has some fantastic rock anthems on it, especially One of Us and The River.
And the sound is pure Oasis.
So close to early Oasis, it just hits that nostalgia button, that quality button instantly.
And this is where the reviewer makes that really interesting point about Liam's actual role in Oasis.
Right. We all kind of assumed Noel was the sole genius behind the
That's
curtain.
right, yeah.
But this album makes you think. The reviewer argues that the sound, the swagger of why me, why not, it proves Liam's musical instincts were crucial to the whole texture of that band, far beyond just the vocals.
And his vocals here are still great.
Oh, they're lauded as never anything less than cool. I mean, it's a solid, well-produced, really enjoyable rock album.
So it had everything going for it. Quality, praise, nostalgia.
Yeah.
But it still landed in third. It was beaten by Keane.
Yes.
What was the factor that let Keane just edge it out?
And this is where you see the judging criteria shift. It moves away from just high-quality standard to something more unique.
Cool.
Keane's Under the Iron Sea, the album that took second, it won because of its sheer breadth and, critically, its innovation.
How so? I mean, Keane is piano anthems, Liam is guitar anthems. On paper, it seems like a pretty fair fight.
It does, but Keane just delivered more complexity, both sonically and emotionally. They had those classic up-tempo ballads that you expect, like Crystal Ball or the huge track, Is It Any Wonder? But they balanced that perfectly with these really contemplative, chill tracks. I'm thinking of Bad Dream and the heartbreaking Hamburg song. It just showed a way wider emotional range than Liam's record.
Here's where it gets really interesting. The reviewer zeroes in on a very specific detail about how Keane delivered that sound.
Oh, yeah. This is the detail that defines Keane's early success.
Yeah, they created this massive stadium-filling rock sound.
With absolutely no guitars.
Not a single one.
The reviewer talks about seeing them live at the NEC in Birmingham right after this album came out, and they remember this immersive, huge soundscape built entirely on drums, bass, and synths.
That's such a powerful distinction. For you, the listener, this isn't just a fun fact. It's the whole metric. Liam Gallagher offered, perfect execution of a classic formula.
Very familiar blueprint.
Whereas Keane offered perfect execution while subverting the most basic rule of rock music.
You have to have a guitar. That innovation is what pushed them into the top two. By forcing themselves to use synth and piano for all that texture and drive, they created a sound that was just instantly them. Unique.
So that's what gave Keane the edge. Innovation over high-quality consistency.
Yep. So Keane secures that second spot. But neither Keane nor Liam nor Therapy really stood a chance against the winner.
The decisive group dominator.
We have to move to the winner. Pink Floyd's Momentary Lapse of Reason.
And the author has a deep personal connection to this one. Listen to it since the late 80s.
Which is important. But you just can't talk about this record without immediately addressing the controversy surrounding it.
Absolutely not. I mean, this is the album that came out right after Roger Waters left in a very messy public way. He basically said the band was a spent force.
And the fan base just split right down the middle, fiercely. So many people sided with Waters, and they dismissed this album as just a poor imitation of Floyd.
But the reviewer here pushes back on that.
They do. They say, look, personal feelings aside, I've always rated this album. And the analysis is great because it admits the flaws while still celebrating what works.
Okay, let's get into what works. I love the reviewer's point about the album's opening seconds.
It starts so beautifully. Just the sound of calming, lapping water. A moment of peace.
But there's a theory there.
There is. The reviewer wonders, and they admit they might be overthinking it, if the sound of water slowly fading away is like this abstract, subtle dig at their old bandmate.
It's a bit manipulative, but brilliant if it's intentional.
Whether it is or not, it sets the stage perfectly for David Gilmour to take back control. From that quiet opening, it builds right into Learning to Fly, with Gilmour's signature guitar notes just hanging in the air.
But the analysis is honest, too. It doesn't ignore the album's flaws.
Not at all. They admit they sympathize a smidgen with the critics. The music sometimes gets lost in that glossy 80s production.
I think it sounds a little dated.
A little too 80s, yeah. And there's the fact that Gilmour, while, an incredible guitarist, has never had the greatest voice. It's definitely not classic-era Floyd.
So if it has all these flaws, why did it destroy the competition? What are the huge moments that lift it up?
It really comes down to scale and ambition. It's described as a superb musical experience that just transcends all that baggage. Even the short little interludes like Round and Round or New Machine, they're just sound collages, but they're still so engaging.
But the real power is in the giant musical pieces.
Precisely. You have tracks like Dogs of War and yet another movie for the rock energy. But then you have something like Terminal Frost.
The instrumental.
Entirely instrumental, dominated by the saxophone. I mean, that track alone is just a masterclass in creating a mood. It's pure atmosphere. It demands your attention.
It shows them focusing on creating sonic events, not just songs.
Absolutely. And then you have the closer, Sorrow. It's just a massive track. It builds and builds with layers of synths, percussion, and those Gilmour solos that just keep climbing. It delivers this emotional grandeur that the other three albums just couldn't touch.
So the sheer scope, the detail, and that personal connection for the reviewer just sealed the deal.
It was a decisive victory for Pink Floyd. That sends them and Keane into the next round.
So let's wrap this up with the final tally for this very contentious group. The rankings are set, and they really do reveal everything about the reviewer's criteria.
Okay, so
Right.
in fourth place, eliminated, we have the consistent but ultimately not inventive enough Troublegum by Therapy.
Right.
Third place, also eliminated, despite its quality, was Why Me? Why Not by Liam Gallagher.
And moving on.
Moving on to round three, our second place finisher, Under the Iron Sea by Keane, who won on unique guitarless innovation, and the clear winner of the group, Momentary Lapse of Reason by Pink Floyd.
Which won on pure compositional ambition and personal resonance.